In the day's other news, Myanmar's military government confirmed that it hanged 4 democracy activists, the nation's first executions in decades. A state-run newspaper said the activists committed what it called terrorist killings. The United Nations, the U.S., and others condemned the executions. We'll take a closer look at this later in the program. There is word that Ukraine could resume exporting grain within a few days under an agreement with Russia. UN officials say all parties have recommitted to the deal despite Russia's weekend missile attack on the port of Odessa. But Ukraine's President Zelensky today questioned Russia's commitment.
And we now see, not even we, but the whole world saw, that less than 24 hours had passed after the agreement was signed before the missile attacks on the seaports of Ukraine began. The next question is for the UN and Turkey. To what extent can they control the Russian Federation, which has shown that it can launch missile strikes even after agreements?
Also today, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that Moscow's goal is ousting Zelensky's government, not just capturing more territory. Separately, Russia has announced deeper cuts in natural gas supplies to Europe. The state-owned utility Gazprom reduced the flow to 20% of capacity in the Nord Stream 1 pipeline to Germany. The utility cited equipment repairs. Pope Francis has made a historic apology in Canada for the role played by the Catholic Church in Indigenous schools. More than 150,000 children were forced to attend the state-funded institutions until the 1970s. Today, the pontiff visited a former school in Alberta and prayed at a cemetery. He told survivors and others, "I am deeply sorry."
I think back on the stories you told, how the policies of assimilation ended up systematically marginalizing Indigenous peoples, how also through the system of residential schools, your languages and cultures were denigrated and suppressed, how children suffered physical or verbal, psychological, and spiritual abuse.
The Pope is making a week-long pilgrimage in a bid for reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. Back in this country, the White House physician reported that President Biden's COVID symptoms are almost completely resolved. The president himself said he's feeling great. Today, Mr. Biden hosted a virtual discussion with business and labor leaders on a bill to boost semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. The U.S. Department of Justice today filed a settlement with poultry producers over the alleged abuse of workers. It involves Cargill, Sanderson Farms, and Wayne Farms, plus a data consulting firm. They were accused of sharing information to limit wages and benefits. The settlement would establish a federal monitor. And on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 90 points to close at 31,990. The Nasdaq fell 51 points, and the S&P 500 added 5. And veteran actor Paul Sorvino died today in Jacksonville, Florida. He was best known for his gangster role in the 1990 movie Goodfellas and as a police detective on TV's Law and Order. Sorvino's daughter, Mira, became an Oscar winner in her own right in 1996. Paul Sorvino was 83 years old. Still to come on the NewsHour, virginity testing continues in rural Mongolian schools despite United Nations condemnation of the practice. Tamara Keith and Amy Walter examine the latest political headlines. Singer Joni Mitchell plays her first full set in over 20 years at the Newport Folk Festival, plus much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.